Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Now, as you can tell by the title, today's video is going to be a review, tutorial, swatch video, all of that on the Trendy in Tokyo BH Cosmetics palette. I've had this in my collection for a while, but I just haven't gotten the chance to sit down and really play around with it. So I thought I would do that today. So I used this palette to create this very colorful eye look today and tested out a bunch of the shades, kind of got my thoughts on it and everything like that. And then I'll also be doing a kind of side-by-side comparison of this one with the BH Cosmetics Take Me Back to Brazil palette, so you can kind of get a side-by-side comparison. But first, before we get into the tutorial, let's do some swatches on this palette. Alright, so now that you guys saw all these shades in here, very colorful and nice, we're gonna get into the tutorial. Alright, so let's get into the eye look. I have the palette right here. I have a really nice mix of shimmers and mattes throughout here, so kind of like how every color is doubled up, kind of like with a shimmer and a matte. Like the purples, for example, you have your matte shimmer, blues, same thing, greens, like they each kind of have that, which is really nice. So I'm excited to dive right into this. So I'm going to take the shade Blossom, which is this light pink right here, and dip into it. There's not a lot of kickback, which is good. Bit of fallout, but that's normal. I'm just going to go in and buff this out in my crease. Not really getting much pigment there, so I'm going to dip back in, pick up more product. Very light shade. I was expecting it to be a little darker, but on the eye it's showing up very light. So I'm going to dip into Emoji down here, which is a bit more vibrant. This one did have a bit more kickback to it. Oh yeah, that's a lot more pigmented. And I'm just going to go in the crease. And blend out. And take it out as well. And then I'm going to go back into Blossom. I'm going to use that to kind of blend out the top, so it's really nice and seamless. Now I'm going to cut the crease so we can lay down some lid shades. I'm just going to use my Wet n Wild liquid catsuit in the shade Camelback. This is my favorite for cutting the crease, so I'm just going to lay this down. And I'm going to go like right past the middle of my eye there and then blend it out. And this palette doesn't have like a cream shade, so I'm just going to use my Sonia Kashuk palette right here. I'm just going to take this to pat that down dry. I'm going to take the shade Karaoke, this beautiful yellow, and I'm really going to load up my brush. And then I'm going to press it at the beginning of my eye here. Just like that. It's pretty pigmented, I will say. But it kind of went on a little bit patchy right there. Try to kind of fix that. A little patchy there. I'm going to go in with the shade Tempura. It's like this green right here. More of a green than a yellow, and kind of layer it a bit on top and then go to the side, blending them into each other. This shade is really crumbly and not really staying on the lid. Okay, I'm gonna dip into the shade Wasabi. It is more of a shimmer, but maybe this will stick more. Not really, to be honest. Let's take a little tiny bit of bamboo. Maybe. A little more green. Maybe if I mix that in Wasabi. Just want that green to pop up. It's not really doing anything. It's kind of going on a little patchy, I must say. Grab a clean brush and try the blue, so I'm just going to take Fortune. Nice and pigmented on the brush there. And just tap into the green. Okay, this one's applying a little better. Still a little patchy, but not terrible. And then I'm taking this purple down here. Tap off a little and apply this at the end and kind of use this to wing out at the same time. So blending it into the blue color. I'm going to take an angle brush with the purple and apply this like close to my lashes. Kind of wing that out a little. And then I'm going to take the brush that I had the pink on and blend out. A bit of fallout right there. Just going to whisk that away. Not bad when it's like all together, you know? Like that green and yellow are just not as smooth as I would have wanted them to be. Alright, so now for the lower lash line, since I still want to play around with some colors, I'm going to take the shade Trendsetter, which is this beautiful coral. Hopefully this looks nice, and I'm just going to sweep this along the inner corner of my lower lash line, like so. And then I'm going to mix the shades Fashion and Sushi, which are both like red corals, and use these on the outer corner of my lower lash line. Then dip more into Fashion because it's a bit deeper. And kind of connect it into the top. Alright, so I'm going to go do this eyeshadow look on the other side, and I'll be right back to finish off this makeup look. Alright, so both eyes are now done, and I just put some baking powder along just to smoothen it out a little bit. So I'm just going to go in there, kind of pat that out. It'll kind of diffuse the end of the eye look too, which is what I like to do with these. Because I really like to take eyeshadow into my eyebrows and then I clean it up after. I just find I can get better blending that way, and then I clean it up right after. And on my lips, I'm just wearing the Milani Matte Satin in the shade Lavish. I just did a nude because we have some crazy eyes going on, so I just wanted to do something simple. Mascara real quick, just a little bit, so my lashes blend better. Just gonna apply some Ardell Wispies real quick. I'm just using some Duo Lash Glue. I find this one with the brush holds a lot better than the squeeze tube one. It's definitely a lot more intense. And then because this is a bit of a thicker band, I'm just going to take some of my tattoo liner from Kat Von D. And kind of just use this to blend it a little more. I'm going to quickly highlight my inner corner using my Milani Baked Highlighter. Nice and right inner corner. I'm also going to add a bit of this on the brow bone. So this is the finished eye look using the Trendy in Tokyo palette. I'm going to zoom out now and give you guys my final thoughts and everything like that. Alright, so now that we're pulled back, let's talk about my thoughts on the overall palette. So I did like it, and I feel like I was able to create a very pretty look out of it. I do like how the eye look turned out. I haven't played with color in a very long time, so this was very, very fun to film, just sit down, play around with color, and get creative. So I do enjoy that about it. I do like the size of the palette. I think it's the perfect size, especially to take traveling. If you are bringing like a neutrals palette and want something that you can do a lot with, be creative with, just have those pops of colors. This is perfect because it's not too big, yet you have every shade of the rainbow in here, so you can definitely do a lot. I also like that there's a nice mix of mattes and shimmers in here as well. I think that's awesome. But I will say some of the shades in here just weren't my favorite. I do really enjoy the deeper shades in here, like the blues, the purples, the reds and corals were amazing. The darker pink shades, great. Those lighter shades though did not impress me. The light pink right here kind of blended away into nothing. So did the yellow and the green, and even these green shades right here, they just didn't perform as I expected them to, as I wanted them to. I definitely had to put in a lot more work to actually make them stick on the eye, and I had to kind of sit there for a while to make sure that they popped up how I wanted them to. So not my absolute favorite as far as those shades, but I do really like the deeper shades in here. I do want to talk about this palette in comparison to their Take Me Back to Brazil palette. So this one, if you have never seen this, it has, again, every color in the rainbow possible in here. So you're definitely going to be able to create a lot of looks with this, and this is one of my go-to palettes for colorful looks. I love how many shades you get, I love how affordable the palette is, and the quality is really good as well. Formula-wise, compared to the Trendy and Tokyo one, this formula is definitely a lot harder, whereas this one is very, very soft. Saying that, from this palette right here, when I go into those lighter shades like the yellows, the greens, whatever, I just have to dig with my brush a little harder, but then that pigment really shows up on my eyes 100%. Whereas the darker shades in here, I have to spend a little more time blending them out, which I'm used to with like the purples and blues. They're just typical formulas that you need to put in a bit more work to actually make them really, really nice. So that's kind of my gist on this one. Whereas this one, because the shades are so soft, the formula is so soft that when you put them on the eye, they just blend out so effortlessly. That's going to cause those lighter shades to blend out into nothing. So that's why you can't really see them. That's why they're not sticking, all of that. But the darker shades were really, really easy to blend in here. I had no issue at all blending the pink, the blue, and the purple, and everything's super seamless on my eyes. It's not patchy or anything like that, and I didn't have to sit here for minutes on end really trying to buff out those darker shades, which sometimes happens with those deeper more intense rich shades. So I will say that's kind of a good thing and a bad thing regarding the formula of this palette. That very soft formula makes those deeper shades very easy to blend, but it's gonna make those light shades not really show up and not really give much pigment. So I'm kind of in the middle on this palette. It's not perfect for sure. Is it the best palette I've ever tried? No, there definitely were some downfalls, but I do feel like I'm going to keep experimenting with it and keep using it, especially for those more vibrant shades. I really like how they applied, so I'm still definitely going to use the other colors in here and still play around with it because I did like those other shades. I just wanted to do a quick comparison with the Take Me Back to Brazil palette if you have this one and you're wondering what this one is like in comparison. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know down below in the comments, and hopefully this video was helpful if you were looking into this palette right here. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic day or night whenever you're watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and also make sure to turn on my post notifications so you get notified every single time I upload a new video. And yeah, that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!